The Calder Race is becoming a lot tighter because Lane Hutson,
Canadiens, and here he snaps this thing far side on Connor Hellebuyck. That's just not anybody you're beating.
yeah, that kid, he just won Rookie of the Month. But can Lane Hutson actually win the Calder Trophy? Let's talk about it. The Calder Race is heating up, and as of this recording, Michkov currently leads with 29 points, Celebrini with 28 points, and Lane Hutson with 26 points. I think the consensus at the beginning of this year was that Michkov was just going to run away with it, but that wasn't until Michkov and Celebrini stepped back into the lineup for the Sharks after missing 12 games and is now on a hot streak of his own. But what are the expectations for Lane Hutson? And can he actually win this thing? Yeah, but you already said Celebrini's going to win this thing. So come on, dude. I know you ain't serious. Michkov is better than Hudson and Celebrini combined. Yeah, I've seen and heard all the arguments already. And I already think there's a clear front runner for this thing. I'm not saying Lane Hutson is going to win this trophy, but I've looked at his highlights and some of his play this year, and it's been pretty impressive. But can he make the case for beating out both Celebrini and Michkov? Lane Hutson stands at 5 foot 10 inches and weighs about $165. He's a pretty small defenseman, but he's got pretty good feet. He was drafted 62nd overall to the Montreal Canadiens in the second round of 2022 and currently sits at 2 goals, 24 assists, and 26 points with a -9 rating. Last year, he played at Boston University with Michkov and Celebrini, where he racked up 15 goals, 34 assists, and 49 points with a +14 rating.
I actually haven't played with someone like him. Like
He's
I
got
played
an insane motor on.
Oh my God. Like
Before he left school for the pros, he helped Team USA take home the gold medal versus Team Sweden in last year's World Juniors tournament. Suck it, Canada. After his time in college and his performance at the World Juniors, we got a small glimpse of him in the NHL towards the end of last year. And man, was there some excitement for the Habs' new blue liner. That sauce pass was absolutely disgusting. Now we know the status of the Habs, and we've all been watching and waiting to see where this rebuild's going to go and if it's ever going to go in a positive direction. That was not the case at the beginning of the year. Now I'm going to be honest, I stopped watching the Habs right at the beginning of the year after they got blown out by the Rangers and the Frozen Frenzy, whatever that was.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed with the result.
I sure as would be, Marty. That was pretty bad. Patrick Laine was out of the lineup. The goaltending is questionable, to say the least. But it wasn't until late when Lane Hutson had a 7-game point streak that I had to pay attention to again, which ultimately won him the honors of Rookie of the Month heading into December and into 2025. Now, I want to preface this by saying, do I think he's going to win the Calder Trophy? No. Do I think it's possible? Sure. Looking at his numbers, about half his points are coming from the power play and half his points in total are secondary assists. Now, that's not a huge knock on him, but I've looked at every single point of his so far this season, and I gotta be honest with you, there's nothing too impressive about his points so far this year. Some of them have been easy feeds to the primary assist player.
Struble gets it back. Slides it over for Lane Hutson. Right back for Jake Evans. Got it across. Heineman scores.
And I can kind of say the same thing about his primary assist on goals that were scored.
Dropped it at the line for Hudson. Over to Nick Suzuki. Scores.
He's been feeding Patrick Laine on the power play, and honestly, Patrick Laine can rip that thing.
Hudson. Laine, there it is. Scores. Tipped in front.
Look, I'm not going to say these points don't count or shouldn't count, but I'm looking at the overall quality of them. Are they standout passes? Are they passes that players in the league just can't make? To be honest with you, they're plays that pretty much anyone can make. I can make them. The other thing that's going against Hudson is his position. The last time a defenseman won the Calder Trophy was in his draft year. And maybe that's a sign he'll win it this year. But the year he was drafted, it went to Mo Seider, who racked up 7 goals, 43 assists, and 50 points. He was going up against Michael Bunting, who totaled 63 points, and Trevor Zegras with 61 points of his own. The defensive winner before that was future Norris Trophy winner and future Conn Smythe winner Cale Makar in 2020. He ended the year with 12 goals, 38 assists, and 50 points. He beat out future Norris Trophy winner defenseman Quinn Hughes, who had 53 points that year, and Dominique Kubalik, who had 46 points of his own. Cale Makar is a better player than Quinn Hughes. Come at me. So is it possible to beat out some of the top scoring rookie forwards in the league? Yep. But what makes this situation a little different compared to years past is the types of players that are in this race. Both Celebrini and Michkov are going to be superstar goal scorers in this league for years to come. I'm talking about goal scorers, not point getters. These two guys are going to be guys you pay your hard-earned money to actually go watch play. I'm not saying Lane Hutson isn't going to be a good player and he can't be a player that you want to pay money to go see, but as of right now, I'm not going to choose to watch a Canadiens game over a Sharks game or a Flyers game. but I'm a little biased. Go Sharks, baby. But that's what makes this race so intriguing this year. There's crazy good talent all around this league right now. And unless you're going head to head, it's hard to judge these players on who's going to win the trophy or not. But Michkov and the Flyers beat the Sharks twice already. Yeah, I fucking know. I watched. So how was this race decided? Well, it's decided by voters, and those voters would come from the Professional Hockey Writers Association. And they pick, or they vote, who they think the better player is right now. Now, if you've ever listened to any podcasts or watched NHL talk shows, you'll hear and see the debate between who's the better player. Is it Celebrini or is it Michkov?
They're not on the same level. The way he defends, the way he plays in the neutral zone, his speed, everything about Celebrini screams best rookie.
And you hear that more times than not. I personally haven't heard much mention of Lane Hutson, but now that he's won Rookie of the Month last month in December, we'll probably hear his name mentioned a hell of a lot more. But ultimately, I think the debate will come back to who the overall better player is right now. Is Hudson better than Celebrini and Michkov right now? Nope. But he could go on a crazy run to end the year. We've already seen point streaks he's gone on already this year, but I think the voters are going to look back at how those points were scored and where those points came from. If he gets an absurd amount of points, I don't think anyone's going to care. If they're secondary assists or not, if he's got a bunch load of those things, I don't think anyone's going to care. The one thing I can say that will help Hudson's case over Celebrini, or even Dustin Wolf for that fact, is the East Coast bias. Now, if these voters aren't staying up to watch Celebrini and Wolf on the West Coast and are only relying on highlight packages, I could say, yeah, they might give Hudson a little bit more credit than he deserves. My opinion. Look, I know I'm shooting my shot here. All right. I'm not saying he's a bad player by any means. I think he's a great player. He's got crazy good feet.
Hey, you down with feet? Me too, B.
He's got some insane vision for being a smaller defenseman. I think he's going to be a star in this league. Probably like Quinn Hughes, maybe like Cale Makar, but the kid is got crazy good talent. But let me know down in the comments on how you think the Calder Race is going to shape up and what you think of Lane Hutson's play so far this year. And if you want to watch my analysis or my breakdown of Celebrini or Michkov, click here or there, or wherever the hell this thing is. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit that like button, and I will talk to you homies in the next one. Peace out, boys. Go USA.